Cheers and welcome back to Cooking with MoWino. Today we are making a very savory, real cheers. Good stuff. We're making a very savory Tuscan chicken cacciatore. However, there is a standard recipe for chicken cacciatore, and then there's the MoWino recipe for chicken cacciatore. So we are making a chicken cacciatore-like savory dish right now. And it's going to simmer low, and then we're going to have a great Friday night at home because we are still under the pandemic phase 2, but everything's starting to escalate again. So we're taking it a little easy, and we're going to have a great dinner here at home. Earlier in the week, MoWino attended a Tuscan wine virtual tasting with a good friend, the wine coach, Laurie Forrester. And we had 4 bottles of Tuscan wine, and we happen to have some leftovers. So we are drinking Falangia. I probably said that wrong. Sorry, Laurie. But we're going to cook with that and drink with this. And we're then going to probably open a fresh bottle of Tuscan Red to have with our dinner. But this is what we're going to do. I have prepped everything of our chicken cacciatore-like pieces. It's boneless chicken thighs, boneless skinless chicken thighs, and I have trimmed them off a good deal of the fat and put them into not bite-sized pieces, but smaller pieces than I basically cut the chicken thigh in half. And we have onions, peppers, mushrooms, and then the MoWino edition of chicken spicy Italian sausage, a little bit of pepperoni, and fresh basil from the garden, plus a few other extras. So what I'm going to do is sear off or saute all our vegetables, and then when I get them nice and tender, I'm going to bring you back in as we assemble the layers of this fabulous savory chicken cacciatore. Okay, so now we are sauteing our peppers and onions and garlic in our Dutch oven. Going to let this come to a little bit of tenderization, and then we're going to add the layers of goodness of chicken and wine. Hi! So, I've had my onions, peppers, garlic, and onion just simmering just a bit to soften them up. And now I'm going to add in our trimmed chicken thighs. Again, I cut them in half, but they're still, if I can get it up, simple pieces. The reason I use chicken thighs is because they have a lot more flavor. But I had a very bad experience when I was a kid eating chicken cacciatore, and I got a bone stuck in my throat. And so I literally hate chicken cacciatore with bones. Just, I don't want to go there, I don't want to do it. I know it's the traditional method, but not for me. So, years ago when I first started making this, I did it with chicken breast. And then I learned the difference between a flavorful chicken thigh and a sort of bland chicken breast. So, I like to do it this way. So, I literally just have the trimmed chicken in here raw. And it's going to sit in with our vegetables nicely. And the main reason I'm putting it in now is because I want the chicken and the vegetables to absorb the goodness. So, I have about 2 cups here. So I'm going to measure, which I normally never do, 1 cup of wine. Kitchen got quiet all of a sudden. So I'm just going to let this bathe for a while. I just want the chicken to be absorbed. I actually thought about marinating the chicken in the wine, but I've been working all day, so haven't gotten organized. Okay, so I'm going to let this simmer just a little bit, and then I will invite you back into the kitchen. Cheers! Welcome back. So our chicken thighs and vegetables have been simmering, bathing, poaching, if you will, in a cup of white wine, Tuscan wine. And is looking kind of nice, and the juices of the chicken are coming out and creating a little bit of a broth, so that's lovely. So we're going to add some more layers to enhance that broth. Now, I said this was going to be Mo's version of chicken cacciatore. So I have a half a pound of chicken spicy Italian sausage that I have taken out of its casing and pre-cooked. Well, I should say just sort of got the grease out. It's not really cooked. And I'm going to put that in. And I happen to love pepperoni, and I had about a 2-inch part of the stick left, so I took the skin off and I chopped it into tiny little pieces. I thought that would add a nice flavor component. So I'm just going to stir all this up. So if we wanted, we could call this chicken pepperoni instead of chicken cacciatore. Okay. Now I'm going to add a can of diced, low sodium or no salt added chopped tomatoes. Again, stirring this all up. Okay, we have a nice little look here. And now I have a half a pound of brown cremini mushrooms that are cleaned and quartered. I'm going to hold off on them for a bit. I also have here some fresh basil that I'm going to rip up and throw in a little later. And we also have some capers. Now, I happen to like capers. But the thing about capers is you got to be very careful because the brine is very salty. So I am going to take out a bit of the brine, but I'm not taking it all. I'm sort of straining my little spoon as I take it out of the jar. So that is a half a teaspoon. And I'm going to put in a full teaspoon. See, I hardly changed the level of the brine. So now we have this lovely broth. Saw a little piece of skin there. I want to make sure that was off. And now I'm just going to put the lid on. Actually, I'm going to put a little bit of salt, and then I'm going to put the lid on and let it simmer for a good hour till everything really gels and intensifies in flavor yet softens in consistency. And then I will add my mushrooms, because the mushrooms really do cook down very quickly and I want them to keep their integrity, so I always put them in at the end. So I'm going to let this simmer for an hour with the lid on, and then we will come back and see what other layers of goodness we can put in. Cheers. So this is our chicken cacciatore a la Mo that has been simmering on low on top of the stove for 2 hours in 1 cup of white wine and simple can of tomatoes, chopped tomatoes. And now I am going to add our mushrooms, because I really don't like adding them until the end because they cook down so much that this way they keep their integrity. So stay tuned, it's getting yummy. Mushrooms added. Yum!